What's not supposed to be scary but is? Dolls, lots and lots of dolls. Fun fact, dolls were originally created to house the souls of the dead. Edit. I saw this on some ghost hunting show years ago, so I'm not sure how accurate it is, or which culture it's referring to. Obviously, it doesn't make sense that every culture invented dolls for this reason, but it likely does have some truth to it. Driving next to a semi-truck, especially between a concrete barrier and a semi-truck. No, that's a very valid fear. If that truck moves over, your car is going to do a great impression of a pancake, and your bodily fluids will be the syrup. The woods at night. My dog Sam went missing in the woods next to my cabin, but returned in 3 days as if everything was normal. He didn't like going near those woods, which really frightened me. I now live in Texas. I misjudged the amount of daylight left on a mountain bike ride in a state park. Was still a mile out when the sun completely set. To add insult, my phone was at 10%. Turned it off and spent the next hour in a pitch black forest by myself trying to get back. Hearing animals move through the leaves and the sounds of cracking branches was horrifying. Did really drive home that when your body and mind are in fight or flight mode, a lot of the fear is removed. Opening one of those containers for crescent roll dough and slowly unwrap the foil waiting for the whole thing to pop open. I hate it. I swear in the last 5-10 years the Pillsbury ones have been modified to not pop as you unwrap them, but it just opens up the can slightly and you have to stab the seam with something to get it to pop. Off-brand dough in a can still pops without warning. I actually like the anticipation as I peel off the wrapping. It's kind of like watching a screamer video. You know it's coming but not when. Small children singing. Edit. Why is it always my shit posts? One time I woke up to my at the time 6-year-old sister singing a lullaby right in front of my face. One of the most terrifying experiences of my life. This AskReddit reminds me something I read about COVID-19. There's an old German story about death. Death came to town and when it reached the outskirts it met an old man. "Where are you going?" the old man asked. "I'm going to take 100 people," replied Death later. Death was walking out of the town and was stopped by the old man again. "I thought you were going to take only 100 people. There are 1,000, he said in disbelief, to which Death replied, "I only got 100. The rest died due to fear." Life. You know, life is definitely scary. It's weird how we all get up every day and pretend to each other that everything is cool, but inside we are all scared little bunnies trying to figure out what to do next. Roombus. Whenever I'm downstairs at 4 AM getting cereal I had it boot up and move around bumping into things in the dark. Terrifying. Starting a new job is supposed to be a great and exciting day but it usually just freaks you out. Getting introduced to a dozen people and you're so stressed you don't remember anyone's names and then you don't remember them and it's awkward to ask a month later so you end up calling they hey for the next 5 years. When a normally non-bipedal animal walks on 2 feet. I had a dream once where someone was feeding a group of raccoons. I watched with a sense of complete dread as one snuck behind the person, took a few steps on its back legs, and then snapped the person's neck. After that dream I can't watch any of those cute or funny videos of raccoons doing stuff on 2 feet. We need to talk. With my mother is basically, "Do you have something to tell me? No. Are you sure about that?" But when she used to say this, it was always a bad thing that I did, and I had the sensation that she would destroy my soul. Well then you have to play hey at her own game. Just ask, "What have you heard?" Never start listing off all the stupid stuff you've done because you're just adding to your sentencing. I used to be scared of the toilet. When I was a young kid I used to be afraid to flush the toilet because I was scared I'd get sucked down. My parents were not happy walking into the bathroom and seeing my floaters. Pregnancy. Growing a whole human inside your body. So many things could go wrong. And then there's the prospect of labor. I remember reading some shower thought or something that was super creepy. It went sort of like this. Thanks to pregnant women, the average number of skeletons in adults is greater than 1. Your phone's front camera and microphone. I bought a phone with pop-up front camera at least twice since August 2019 while opening links to websites full of ads. Firefox opened my front camera. I quickly closed Firefox. Camera fell back inside the phone and I removed permissions. It happened again months later. The first time it scared the shit out of me. To be honest, I know there are spywares able to activate front camera. I even know people were blackmailed with their own selfies. I just didn't expect to have my camera activated by a stupid website linked by a friend. I still don't like the microphone. I keep Google Assistant deactivated and didn't give permissions to use microphone. I don't know how useful it is. Furbies. Me and my friend bought Furbies together. Mine came with a mask that you can put on that makes him go to sleep. Hers doesn't have that. If she's too loud, then he'll wake up and he'll just stay awake for like 10 minutes. It's terrifying. The dark. I mean, everything is just like the day except you can't see, so you end up getting paranoid of what could be there, even in your own home. You're exactly right. No one is actually afraid of the dark. They're afraid of what's in it. The sound of the emergency broadcast system test, between the loud, awful noise and the robotic voice. I always just have to turn off the TV or radio until it's over. Duck that shit. As an older guy, I can tell you the first time I heard a voice come over the ebbs, I nearly had a heart attack, soiled myself, and fainted all within a nanosecond. Time slowed down in that moment, became a minute when all sorts of thoughts enter the mind. Kinda like the Matrix. Why? Because in the 60s and 70s you were never supposed to hear a voice. The ebbs was only to be used when the end of things was upon you. The nukes were flying and you only had minutes of life left. So better go hide under the bed and kiss your ass goodbye. Most scared I ever was. You never wanted to hear a voice. This was now the 90s and some bureaucrat somewhere decided ebbs was more than just for nukes, but didn't tell the general public of this change. Turned out to be a high wind warning or some such a county over from mine. Scared the living hell out of me. I was rattled and jumpy all day after that. Natural bodies of water, lakes, rivers, oceans, etc. It freaks me out to just put my whole body in there when I can't see the bottom or what's in there with me. Turning the downstairs light off before bed. I still book it up the stairs when I do that. Filling out government forms. I'm always afraid I'll get in trouble for signing off on a genuine mistake under penalty of perjury. When I was filing for citizenship, all the forms made me nauseous. I was convinced I was going to misspell something and they would throw out my whole application. Calling someone you don't know on the phone. Calling someone and know that people in the office are listening to the call. The ocean. This is a repost from one of my own old posts, but I think you might appreciate it. Once I was on a cruise in the Caribbean. We were on our way from the Bahamas to the US Virgin Islands. While the family was out enjoying themselves somewhere, I was sitting on one of the multiple lobbies, trying to find a comfortable position to read a book. There was a screen in the lobby, showing the ship's position, speed, and heading on a neat map. At the bottom of the screen there was a sonar readout indicating how deep the ocean floor was. At first it was fun to watch the moving map. I don't remember the numbers exactly, but it was something like 800 featuring, 800 featuring, 950 featuring. I noticed the numbers getting larger. 1000, 1100, 1500, 2200. Then all of a sudden it jumped to 8000. 8,500, 11,000, 12,000. I looked out the huge glass doors in front of me. Only ocean, as far as I could see, in every direction, including several miles of water down. For a moment, it was terrifying. I had to make a conscious effort to not look at the depth readout anymore, to peel myself from the couch and go look for my family. It still gives me the chills, and it's been more than 10 years. Night swimming in a pool. Can't see the sharks. That's just because they're made of glass though. And you're the first one at the table to order and you don't know what you want. My wife's family is notorious for everyone sitting down and just shooting the shit while their menus go untouched. Then the waiter comes over to take our order and that's when they decide, oh yeah, Guess I'd better figure out what I want to eat lol, and the waiter has to come back at least once but most often twice to finally get everyone at the table's order. It is so incredibly frustrating and embarrassing. Her father is also one of those people that likes to ask the waiter what they recommend. To this day, after almost a decade of dinners out with her family, I've still never seen him actually order something based on a waiter's recommendation. I just want to scream, Jesus duck. Dude, we're at ducking Olive Garden. Do you really think the cooks at Olive Garden are out perusing the local farmers market every morning to find the freshest things available for a custom menu like some Michelin-starred restaurant? Oh, the chili and sea bass is exceptionally good today, sir. Caught fresh this morning and teleported from the coast right here to us in the upper Midwest. It's the same shit it was last time and will be the same shit next time, and it's going to taste exactly the same as it ever did because it's all pre-made and they're just throwing it in the microwave in the back. One doesn't have any ducking recommendations. One doesn't even duck and eat here probably. One is just going to try and pull some shit out of his ass to appease you, and you're not going to order it anyway, so why the duck do we always have to go through this shit? At least with all this coronavirus shit I've got a temporary reprieve from that nonsense. Best comment of the day. This just happened to my friend yesterday. She was biking home from the park and a guy kept on following her. She didn't know this guy, but he just kept on following her and hiding every few blocks. She once had learned this tip that if you take 4 right turns and if they are still behind you, they're following you. So she did that and he was still behind her. She ended up booking it and thankfully made it home safely, but this just reminds me of how dangerous one bike ride or walk can be, so please take care and be safe people.